What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central. And we had the Chicago Bulls Media Day today, and no, huge, at least to me, quotes came out. Yeah, we had the Zach LaVine quote with the winning cures all. And that was a theme that really was throughout this whole press conference from the beginning with AK and Billy Donovan out there. AK and Billy Donovan really focused on the fact that, this team hasn't had official practice together. They haven't played together. But, they didn't really want to pick out how their play style was going to be quite yet. It was more about focusing on the fact that they added tons of versatility, tons of ball handlers, tons of players that have potential to play multiple positions. And really, it seemed like you got that from that first part of this press conference, that you got the focus that they're going to let these rotations and these lineups figure themselves out. And that's kind of what we've been thinking. That's what I've been talking about here on Chicago Bulls Central, is that, we can have in our head as fans the idea of how this team is going to fit together all day. We can pick out roles that people are going to have and players are going to have. But ultimately, it all boils down to, it seems like this team is going to allow that stuff to figure. Of course, Zach, Vooch, DeMar, they all have their outline roles. Zoe as well. Everyone has their roles that they are going to ideally fulfill. But as far as exactly how that's going to play out, their play style, all that has not been determined yet. They did say that they did want to focus on being more athletic, having the ability to play at a faster pace. That's why they were interested in Lonzo. That's one of the skills that he brings in here and that they're happy to have. And I really love that. I've said that before. When Billy Donovan came in here, he's always seemed to be a coach that allows the players to figure out the system rather than picks players that fit into a predetermined system. One of the biggest things also in this media day, and the thing that makes me happy, and I think a lot of Bulls fans happy as well, is that the players are excited to be here. You get the same excitement that we share as fans of this organization and this team. It seems like it's reverberating through the players in the organization as well. You talk about Zach LaVine when he's up there saying this is the most excited that he's been. Lonzo, when asked what, the fact that it seemed like free agents for a long time didn't want to come to Chicago, and he said that he wanted to come because they wanted him here. When they asked AK about what the pitch was to players, and them saying that players were excited to come here, they were excited to play with LaVine, and they were excited with what they were building here and the potential to win. That's what this season is all about. We can talk all day about fit, we can talk all day about everything, but it really does seem like the players are excited to be here. And another detail that we did get, we kind of knew as well, is that almost everyone came here a week or two early to begin playing together before the opening of training camp. That shows that these players are really focused and have a desire to figure it out, to figure out their chemistry together. And that's what's going to make this team the amazing team that we all think that it can be. Hearing Zach out there, him saying that, when he's asked about his contract, really just focusing on the fact that he wants to win. He wants to help this team win. He wants to be in the best position. Talking about the fact that winning that gold medal taught him what it means and what it takes to win on that level, and the sacrifice that's needed. And that's really the theme of this, is really these players already being willing to sacrifice for themselves, for each other. And it was a fun press conference to watch. It was exciting to see, the calmness of Zach LaVine. Him not wanting to answer, like I said, the questions on the contract. We're not really not wanting to answer, but bringing it all back to, it's going to figure itself out. Winning figures all. That's almost any time that a player was asked about their role, their fit, how they think things are playing out, it all came back to, if the players are willing to sacrifice and do what it takes to win, then everybody's role is figured out. Everyone's happy. And we haven't had that in Chicago for a long time. It's been a very long time before the Bulls were just expected to be a playoff team. And I know we got the hate. Bulls aren't going to be a playing team. We got some of those comments, and I understand all that. But we know, and I think this team knows how special they can be as well. And that's the thing that makes you excited as a member. As a fan of this franchise, is that it's a different era. And I know that's used a lot, and it's easy to just say, oh, it's a different era. But something that was pointed out here by Billy Donovan, I believe, who said it, is that Kobe and Zach and Patrick Williams are the only players that started off last season on this team. Yeah, we traded for Vooch in the middle of the season, and this is why, having this thing of sacrifice and no roles being defined, it really is going to mean a lot into the season. I know we have these expectations that things are going to work out a certain way, but we just don't know, because these players have to come together, and that's being done right. You talk about culture building, and it reminded me, like, there was a few years ago, I don't remember the exact year, where we had players like Cameron Payne in here that came in, and they were talking about, the Bulls were talking about, they're excited at what we were building over in the summer. That's a different, when you have players the caliber, all-star players like DeMar DeRozan, and DeMar talking about how him and Zach would be in Chicago together and fly back to Los Angeles together, just building that chemistry. So when you hear them talk about the confidence in the fit that they're going to have together, it all makes sense why they feel that way now, because they've been taking the time to bond as people, which is going to make the sacrificing for each other a lot easier. Now, all that being said, yes, you can sacrifice for somebody all day long, but that doesn't necessarily translate to wins. That may translate to chemistry. That may translate to enjoying and liking each other. But the far as winning, and the winning part of this is the talent that was brought into this team. We heard a lot about you know, defense and what Lonzo can do, and the fact that the Bulls seem really high on Lonzo, and not only is what he can do as far as being a pure point guard, but also his defensive ability. And this may be a year, and it's funny that we have two very lengthy guards at the 1 and 2 spot with Lonzo and Zach LaVine. And Zach, I think, winning that gold, as everyone said, winning that gold medal and understanding what it takes defensively to really win at a different level. And now him not having to just run the offense as much as he did before, we're going to see a completely different Zach LaVine. I think we're going to see, while those offensive numbers may not be as high, when I say we're going to see a whole new Zach LaVine, I mean in the sense that a player on both sides, I never expect, like I have said before, and I've had to calm my expectations down, is I don't think Zach LaVine is going to turn into a lockdown defender. That's my personal opinion. Usually players this far into the career don't turn into lockdown defenders. But I think when we talk about active defenders, a capable defender, a defender that you just can't assume is going to be bad every night, that you're going to have to respect him on both ends of the basketball. Zach LaVine, this is going to be a transformative year for Zach LaVine. And I know some of us in the fan base have gone to like MVP levels. I'm not willing to say all that. I hope that it happens. But I think even if he doesn't reach that MVP level, that we're going to get a player who is firmly going to be one of the best players in the NBA when this season is all said and done. And those questions are going to be gone. Other great like pieces from this interview, like hearing Vooch talk about how it was a little weird coming in here and having to adjust, and like what it's different going into this off season and being together. Patrick Williams as well coming out talking about like how he's still going to be able to, like, and that was one of the things as well on here, is that Billy Donovan saying that they wanted Patrick Williams to focus on conditioning so that he can be more explosive that he showed in spurts, but he can sustain that over a longer period of stretch and more consistently. Listen here, and this is why I say, I know there was a comment in one of the last videos of someone saying they wanted to see Patrick Williams featured more on offense. I really do think if that conditioning piece comes together, that Patrick Williams is going to be more dangerous on both sides of the ball, not being featured. And the reason why I say that is because featured players, they're going to work starters into the game plan as far as how they're going to defend them all the time. So let me not act like there should be no teams that are sleeping on how they're going to guard Patrick Williams. But by him maybe not being a featured piece and most of the offense going through the other four starters, is that it really makes him the wild card, right? What he's able to give and how he's able to play and who he's up against and how much energy he has to expend on defense versus offense. Patrick Williams has so much potential, and we all see it, but you don't want to stunt that potential by just making him featured all of a sudden, but seeing that continual growth, seeing him work into being more of an aggressive player, that conditioning piece and him talking about that speaks to that. And I really do think, like, if we see a more explosive Patrick Williams, and that's something that I don't know if you guys thought about, I never really sat here and thought about Patrick Williams and how the NBA season and the way that it went in his being his first one really affected that explosiveness for over the course of the season. Because to me, Patrick Williams already guarding probably the best player on the other teams every night that he played. But if you can make that more explosive, god damn, listen here. Listen here, the NBA better watch out. So that's my opinion on that. Other pieces of the Bulls media day, of course, was Zach LaVine's contract. And I know I talked about it a little bit before, but I really love how both the AK, Billy Donovan, Zach LaVine, I really do love how they answered the questions that came up in regards to Zach LaVine's contract, because they all linked it back to winning. AK specifically saying that he feels that they showed what their commitment level is to Zach LaVine over the course of this offseason, and not just to Zach, but to winning, to improving this team. And that's something that I've spoke on a lot as well. Zach LaVine having the great quote that when asked about his contract, that he isn't worried about it. He's more worried about winning. And that Zach LaVine was asked, does he feel pressure to perform in a contract year? And I love this answer here because it all put it back on winning and sacrifice. And, when he answered that, saying that, it winning will figure it all out or take care of everything else. And that's what we know about Zach. He said, me and my agent will figure that out. And Zach just wants to win. As much as some of his quotes try to, by people who don't really follow this team day in and day out, try to misrepresent his quotes as to being disgruntled or whatever else, it really just boils down to a player who has sacrificed, who has put in the work to constantly improve his game, but it hasn't translated to win. Zach LaVine just wants to win. And so, we got the rumors and everything, not rumors, but the reports that Zach LaVine wants to stay in Chicago, that shouldn't be a shock to anyone. But Zach LaVine wants to win, and this team, if nothing else, has proven that their value and how they value winning. Another thing, as some people who've been longer term fans of this franchise, is players wanting to play here. Like let's just really be real about that. Everyone who is here wants to be here. We flipped the whole team. Yes, some were signing trades, and free agents like Caruso. And the fact is that everyone that we brought in, even though that they worked to be signing trades, that was after the deals were solidified. They wanted to play here in Chicago. They wanted to play with Zach LaVine. They liked what this franchise was doing. Even DeMar DeRozan saying that he's close with Jimmy Butler, and saying how some of the other former players of this franchise reached out to him. We've never heard, we haven't heard stuff like that very often. It's been such a negative with the last front office regime, just connotation and just how this team was operating for so long, that now hearing that there are people and players that are speaking about this franchise very well. And even, one of the things, that happened is that once that Zach LaVine signed with Clutch Sports, it was this thing, well, they're going to try to get LaVine out of Chicago. And I love that Lonzo talked when he talked about not only Chicago wanting him to be here and wanting him to be him, and we'll talk some more about his comments here in a second, but also saying that, him and his agent, Rich Paul, they worked out the deal with Chicago. So there's not an issue with Clutch Sports players wanting to be in Chicago. This is something that, like, the respectability of the Chicago Bulls franchise, the fact that that ever got taken away is a fucking travesty in my opinion. But I'm glad that it's back. I'm glad that we are back to being that respectable franchise. And this is all before us really winning anything. Like, let's just, AK and Eversley, what they have done in the way that they have run this team, Zach LaVine and what he's shown as he improved last year in that efficiency number, everything has improved the outlook on this franchise so much. Imagine how much more that's going to improve just by us winning and adding everything else with that. We're not going to have a problem building. Assuming we do win, assuming we do sign Zach LaVine, we're not going to have a problem keeping this bench fresh, reloading when we need to, keeping good players to come in here and continually improving this team. And that's something, it's a lot to say coming out of a media day. Maybe I'm feeling a little bit off the hype there, but it's hype that's deserved this time. It's not us as Bulls fans trying to convince ourselves, well, if this goes right, maybe we can do this, maybe we can that. No, we have earned that now with where we are as a franchise to have those expectations of our franchise. Now, one of the things too that I want to point out, and I said about Alonzo Ball, is him talking about, and this again goes into sacrifice. Him saying, he was asked how he was kind of played out of his natural position last year in New Orleans and kind of forced to be a corner spot up shooter at times. And him saying, he's happy to be able to play more point guard. And that's what the Bulls want him to be, right? But he's also has that willingness to do what the coach asked him to do. And, also, I think it was Billy Donovan or it was AK talked about Lonzo's ability to be the main ball handler and also the secondary ball handler. Listen here, with Lonzo's improved 3-point, if this is legit, right, and this stays, and I do think that it is, I'm not a Lonzo doubter, Lonzo's going to have so many more open shots, especially if during the times that he gets to play off the ball in the half court when probably we're playing more through DeRozan or we're playing more through Zach, even Vooch at times. We have a team full of players that all can play off the ball. We have a team full of players that can all hit an open three, DeMar DeRozan aside. And we haven't even talked about Caruso at this point yet, right? What he brings to the table defensively, with looking at his defensive advanced stats. But wanted to get back. Let's try to focus this on the Chicago Bulls here in this media day. So, Billy Donovan calling Lonzo Ball as good as of an advanced passer as anyone in the league. Also talking about the physical work that this team is going to have to place on defending. And I know a lot when we as spectators, we look at a team and we look at, all right, this person's a good individual defender, this person's a bad individual defender, and then we try to judge it. Team defense, though, is a thing. And I think even when you look at the heralded and celebrated, rightfully so, 2010 Chicago Bulls, a lot of those players weren't all great one-on-one defenders. Like, when you go back and look, I want people to go back and look at some of the articles on Derrick Rose back then when people were saying he was a great one-on-one defender. And then, it kind of turned and people started saying he wasn't a good defender. But it's the team defense that's played, right? Team defense and individual defense are two very completely different things. And you can have individual defenders who aren't the greatest one-on-one defender who do play really great team defense if the system is there. And talking about the length that the Chicago Bulls has, I know we have a lot of projected undersized people who are going to play that 4 position, but really the length is there for all of those players, all of them, almost everyone who you can slot in at the 4, while they may not have the stature height wise, they have that length. And so if the Chicago Bulls can play that solid team defense, the Bulls, again, with not as good defenders in the starting lineup as what we have this year, we're the 12th best team in the league defensively, right? I think it was 12th. Don't quote me wrong. Let me not quote myself wrong on that one, but I believe we were the 12th best defensively, which means that we were in the better than over half the teams in the league defensively. Looking at our improved defenders, there's no reason to think we can't get into the top 10 defensively. And then I want to know what those haters say in a case like that then. But this media day overall, Patrick Williams conditioning, Zach LaVine focusing on winning and talking about what it's like winning the gold medal and bringing that back in. The Billy Donovan, AK, talking about just the players and the IQ that they have on this team. We do have a very smart basketball team. DeMar DeRozan, who I haven't talked a lot about in his media day part, just coming in and saying like he feels he's the best version of himself now because of the intelligence he has as a veteran now, as well as still those physical attributes that he has. And also Zach LaVine saying that DeMar is still in his prime, and I've been one. This is me. I have been one to say, don't be surprised if DeMar DeRozan hits a decline at some point in the season, definitely in the point of over the course of this Bulls contract. But Zach LaVine saying DeMar is in his prime. They trust each other. And that's what this one thing that I'm going to take away from this media day is that the excitement is back. The excitement, we've restored that feeling. The front office has restored that feeling in the franchise. Let me know down below what you guys think about the Bulls media day. If it did anything for your excitement for the season, I'm just ready to see some goddamn games. But let me know what your impressions are out of this franchise heading into the season after media day. I'll be really happy to hear from you guys. You guys always keep the comment section jumping. I appreciate the conversations that are had in there from Bulls fans. Also, thank you so much for the love for my grandfather who passed away. I appreciate you guys so much on that one. I love what we're building. Talking about what the Bulls are building, I love the environment we're building here on this channel. And like I said, I came in not expecting this channel to get anything. Like, this was just me and my passion project, me talking about my favorite team. And so because of that, more Bulls fans have come, and I love what we're building here. This is as much your platform as it is any of mine. Over the course of the season, I'm going to be trying to connect and collab with more Bulls creators as well, content creators, so people who has Bulls podcasts, Bulls YouTube channels. I'm going to try to collab more with them as well to bring that on and just have us have great conversations. Also, my best friend, JB, he is a diehard Knicks fan. So I'm going to bring him on. He's also a podcaster. I'm going to bring him on, and we're going to have a conversation about the Bulls versus Knicks expectations in the upcoming season, and probably going to be doing a episode together every time the Bulls and the Knicks face off over the course of the season. So all that looking forward to coming in this season. Preseason, I'll be doing a video after every preseason game for sure. During the season, I'm not going to commit to doing a video after every game. We'll definitely do one after every couple of games, or if like the Bulls only have 2 games over the week, and they're spaced out, I'll probably go ahead and do a episode after each one of those games. But we'll see what happens with the season. As I think I've shown here, you can expect content coming at you fast, at a frequent rate, because I love talking about this team. I love interacting with you guys as well. I may do another video just about some more of the details or whatever, some of the reactions after this Bulls Media Day and Media Day from around the league. But anyway, as I like to end every video on, go Bulls. I love you guys. Peace.